Alright, after the heavy on logic previous video, I'll try to keep this as light as possible. And I think you can directly proceed to solve these questions. Here, both A and B are starting from the same point in the same direction, and they both will move to and fro between X and Y. And we are going to assume speed of B to be greater than speed of A. So let's solve each question one by one. When and where will they meet for the first time? So for first meeting, B being the faster one would go from X to Y and will return from Y, whereas A being the slower one will be able to cover this much distance. Okay, so they will meet somewhere here around point P. This is the distance covered by A, as A is the slower one, and B will be covering more distance because B is faster. Had they been both equal in their speeds, they both would have met at Y. They both would have covered equal distance and would have met at Y. But B being the faster and A being the slower, they both will meet somewhere here at point P. Now, what's the distance that they together cover in order to meet at P? Distance covered by A is what? XP. A covers distance XP. Okay, this is A and this is B. A covers distance XP plus B covers distance XY plus YP. Okay, this is XY plus YP. So total distance is XP plus YP is XY only, that is distance D, plus XY is distance D. So they covered 2D distance together to meet at P. Now as they are running in the same direction, you might be enticed to take relative speed as SB minus SA. Right, relative speed would be SB minus SA. SB is greater than SA. This would be the relative speed, but this is wrong. If it were a one-directional motion, like one car chasing another, or let's say a policeman chasing a robber, in this case, we will subtract their speeds to get relative speed. This you already know. But here, things are a little different. A is going from X to P, whereas B is going from X to Y and then returning from Y to P. They are not chasing each other. Okay, if we consider their paths as two different routes, we can draw a similar route like this. That's one way to look at this. We can draw their routes like this. This would be point X, this here would be point Y, and they are meeting somewhere at P. Okay, A will be going from X to P, whereas B will be going from X to Y and then Y to P. So that's just one more way to look at this. We can treat to and fro motion as a circular one. Okay, the concept would still be same. Here also A is going from X to P and B is going from X to Y and then from Y to P. Here also A is going from X to P and B is going to P passing through Y. Now you will realize that actually they both are running towards each other in order to cover this total circumference, this total distance, that is 2D. Right? So their speeds are going to add and not subtract. We will be adding their speed as happens in circular motion. So their relative speed while covering distance 2D to meet at P will be SB plus SA. Okay, this would be their relative speed. So time taken to meet for the first time would be total distance 2D that they need to cover to meet for the first time, and their relative speed would be SA plus SB. How far away from X do they meet? We have to find where will they meet. So how far away from X do they meet? This location of this point P could be calculated with respect to X or with respect to Y. So I am calculating this distance XP. xp is what? xp is distance covered by A. That would be speed of A into time taken by A to reach at point P. This is the time taken by A to meet B at point P. This would be SA into 2D upon SA plus SB. Moving on to next question. Find the ratio of distance covered by A and B till the third meeting. Well, they leave simultaneously at the same time. So at any moment, they will have traveled for the same time. Even when they met, they will have traveled for the same time. So we can say time is constant. So distance is going to be directly proportional to speed. Okay. Even when they meet for the second time or third time or nth time, the time they would have taken from beginning to meeting would be same for both A and B. So time is constant, distance would be directly proportional to speed. So ratio of distance covered by A and B till third, fourth or fifth or nth meeting, ratio of distances covered by A and B till nth meeting will be same as ratio of their speeds, SA, S2, SB only. Next and last question for this video. When will they meet for the third time? So let's look at their second meeting. B will start from X, will go towards Y and will return from Y towards X. Okay, this is the motion of B. Whereas A, being the slower one, will start from X, will reach Y and they will meet somewhere here at point P, and then A will return from Y towards X. Meanwhile, B will have returned from X towards Y. The motion is to and fro. So B will again move towards Y. So this blue line representing B will intersect this green line representing the motion of A at this point. This would be their second meeting point. Let's call it Q. Now we have to find total distance covered by A and B in order to meet here at point Q. So distances traveled after meeting, I am ignoring these distances. Okay, we have to find distance covered by both in order to meet here at Q. So total distance is distance covered by A plus distance covered by B. So distance covered by A is what? This green line is representing the motion of A. So A goes from X to Y. This would be XY plus A goes from Y to Q. YQ. And distance covered by B would be from X to Y, that's XY, plus from Y to X, that's again XY, plus from X to Q, that's XQ. So XY is D, this XY is D, this is D, and YQ plus XQ is XY only, that's again D only. These two together will make distance D. So distance covered in order to meet for the second time at Q is 4D. And you can look here as well. You don't have to add these different parts. You can see here this total length XY is covered 4 times. Okay, from X to Y, from Y to X, and this straight line is again representing this whole length XY. Okay, so 1, 2, then 3, this line 3 and this line 4. This distance XY is being covered 4 times. So total distance is 4D. So in order to meet for the first time, the distance covered was 2D. In order to meet for the second time, distance covered is 4D by both A and B. In order to meet for the third time, distance covered would be 6D. Following this pattern, distance covered would be 6D. And similarly, we can say in order to meet for nth time, distance covered would be 2 times ND. Okay. And time taken to meet. To meet for the first time, time taken was distance upon relative speed, that was SA plus SB. To meet for the third time, time taken would be 6D upon SA plus SB. So this was the case when two people leave in the same direction to move to and fro between 2 points. Thank you.